The lives of hundreds of Bahamians residing on the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama changed from last year's hurricane. A hurricane survivor shared her story with our Crystal Darling.
Hurricane Dorian survivor Melissa Rowell Gibson says that her family lost everything in the massive Category 5 storm last September. For many survivors, it was one disaster after another. She explains that the pandemic slowed down her plans and hindered her from heading back home as soon as she had originally anticipated to.
It was really, I would say, really bad for me because I came straight from Hurricane Dorian. And then we end up straight in the pandemic. So we had to move here, which my husband is from here, but he been gone from here a long time. I don't know nothing about Nassau. So it was hard. It's hard. It's really hard. And we going back home. We don't really have a place to go back home, but we was going back home. So try and start something. When, like I say, all of this pandemic thing, it just put a big nail in it.
Rowell Gibson explained why saving during the pandemic was challenging due to the nature of the industry she's a part of.
Being a nail tech here, it's all about building a clientele. And with the pandemic, I wasn't much able to do that. It would have been a great deal if I was making the monies to get back on track, but that wasn't able because, like, with the salon, we normally be like one of the last ones to open, so it affected us a great deal. So it wasn't able, you just was barely making enough money to keep, food on the table like that.
The courageous wife and mother says that she is grateful that God brought her and her family through Dorian. However, her home was completely destroyed and her Abaco salon, where she worked day to day, was also damaged.
With the salon, we had like a lot of water damage. It wasn't really like structure damage. That was a blessing. So to me, at least, I didn't lose too much stuff there. But it took a long time for like the power and water and all that to get back up. They had some changes there to do, but it wasn't like bad like that.
And although things haven't gone quite as planned since leaving Abaco, Rowell Gibson says she is ready to go back home and that she is hopeful as she moves forward.
I wouldn't have much time more in Nassau because I want to go back home. I was supposed to be going back home sometime this month, but that don't look like it's gonna work. Well, me going back home, I know I could make it more better home than trying to build a clientele here because most of my clientele was here already went back home.
Crystal Darling, ZNS Network News.